All right, and we are back here on the GSMC football podcast. And for the third part of the show, we're going to now preview the early window games from Sunday. For my baseball people, my friend just sent this in our sports chat. So Tyler Glasnow. So I talked about this in the baseball podcast. The Dodgers, they acquired him and Manuel Margot from the Rays. So they also were working on an extension with him. So they're finalizing a 5-year, $135 million contract with Glasnow. So maybe that takes them out of the Yamamoto sweepstakes. Not really. I don't think so. But they at least got Glasnow, and they got him signed long term. So, all right. So let's get into these early window games here. So we will start off with. So we got the Green Bay Packers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So both teams are 6-7. Packers coming off of a loss against the Giants, and the Bucs coming off of that big win against the Falcons to put them in first place in the wonderful NFC South. So with this game, Packers are 3.5-point favorites. It looks like there's snow in the forecast. Obviously, the Bucs are returning to Green Bay for the first time since they won that NFC Championship game with Tom Brady back in, the 2020 season, but in 2021, which still haunts me to this day because, I wanted to see Rodgers get to another Super Bowl, but that didn't happen. But now it's very different. We got Jordan Love and Baker Mayfield. So the Packers, we'll see. I got to see what the injury report is, because if Christian Watson's out again, no Aaron Jones, I think Dontavian Wicks was also on the injury report as well. Like, if a lot of these guys are not playing, I might take the Bucs. Because Jordan Love, I think it also helped that the Giants defense. Well, one thing is the Giants defense played well. Bucs defense has been okay, but it's if the Packers are missing a lot of their guys again, might have to take the Bucs with the points. Right now, I got the Packers by 3, winning by more than 3, but we'll see. Speaking of the Giants, Giants are 5-8, taking on the 6-7 New Orleans Saints in New Orleans. Right now, the line is having the Saints favored by 5.5. I'm going to be on the Tommy DeVito train for this week. Because I don't trust the Saints. I don't trust the Saints. They have not played well this year. Offensively, they've just been wildly inconsistent. Derek Carr has been banged up. I think he's going to play. Chris Olave, hasn't practiced this week, so we'll see if he ends up playing in this game. They still don't have Michael Thomas, so they're probably just going to have to ride Alvin Kamara for this game. But I feel like the Giants' defense, they could keep it close, maybe force a turnover or two. Tommy DeVito, if he plays mistake-free football. Saquon Barkley, the last time he played in New Orleans, he had a big game, that overtime win they had back in 2021. So I think the Giants will keep it close within the number. I was silly to think the Panthers would do that. So I will take the Giants with the points. Then we go to the Falcons and the Panthers. Speaking of the Panthers, they are 3-point underdogs at home against the Falcons. I take the Falcons in this matchup. Because all right, well, here's the thing. I don't trust the Falcons either, but the Panthers just cannot score points. They can't. And they had their opportunities against the Saints. They had plenty of opportunities. They were down, I think they were down 14-3. They could have made it a one-possession game. They still, I think, actually, did they even get points out of that drive? Because Miles Sanders had a big run that got them to the 2, and then they got pushed back. That game could have been closer, but they could not take advantage of some of their opportunities. Weather right now does not look nice. There's rain in the forecast. There's rain in the forecast for a lot of these games. So more bad weather on the way. We've been getting hit hard with bad weather. But I don't know. For me, the Falcons are the better team. I think they should win by more than 3. But who knows? So I'll take them. Then we got the Bears and the Browns, which could be a very interesting matchup. Now, Justin Fields, he made his first career start against the Browns back in 2021. And fun fact, so in my Dynasty League that year, because that night, now we've seen some of the games that Rodgers has played against the 49ers. against that defense, and it wasn't good. So what I did was I was like, all right, I'm going to start Justin Fields instead. And that was a very dumb move on my part. I think it was also just because I was like, you know, I think I was doing it to spite Aaron Rodgers. Because I was like, you have not played well against the Niners. I'm not starting you. And what happened? They had that dramatic win against the Niners, and Mason Crosby hit the game-winning field goal. Rodgers hit those 2 passes to Devontae Adams. I mean, Rodgers had a great game. I think he had, what do you have, 3 touchdowns in that game? 2 touchdowns? Something like that. He had a really good game. And, I mean, I still ended up losing my matchup regardless, but, yeah. Some fantasy stuff when it comes to that. But, yeah, so I like the Browns in this game. I'm not taking the Bears. I mean, the Bears, they beat, the Vikings, which they won 12-10. Like they just kicked field goals in that game. The Lions, that was a good win too. They have been playing better, and it's not like I shouldn't discount those wins because how they were playing earlier in the season, they looked like one of the worst teams in football. They've been playing better. Their defense especially has been playing better too. That trade to get Montez Sweat has panned out, and especially now because you got Joe Flacco, who's not a mobile quarterback. So if the Bears are applying pressure on him, that could be an issue. But and Fields, at least for Fields, he's a mobile quarterback. But the Browns got a good defense too. They're at home. Flacco's been playing good. I like the Browns to win this game and cover, and the Bears come back down to earth. All right, so now we got the Jets and the Dolphins. So a couple weeks ago or a few weeks ago when they played on Black Friday, I mean, it was a blowout win for the Dolphins, but the Jets, they could have kept it close. Zach Wilson played good last week. I mean, is he going to replicate that? We'll see. Dolphins are banged up on the offensive line. They might have no Tyreek Hill. And if that's the case, I mean, this defense should give Tua Tagovailoa a tough time. And I think the Jets keep it within the number. Number right now is 9.5. I think that's a lot of points, especially for this defense. Now, will I be surprised if the Jets get blown out? No, because that's the thing. I picked the Jets all these weeks. I pick them against the Chargers, the Falcons. They don't cover. They don't cover against the Raiders. But now I against the Dolphins. Now I don't pick them last week, and they scored 30 points in the second half, which I didn't know they were capable of doing. So I think they'll keep it close. But I think the Dolphins still win. I'm not going to say the Jets are going to win. But I think they'll cover. Dolphins still win. Then we go to the Texans and the Titans. Texans coming off of that rough loss against the Jets, like I just said. Titans, that dramatic win against the Dolphins. I like the Titans to win this game. Right now the number is the Titans are favored by 3. I think in my spread pool it's like 2.5. I think the Titans win this game here because C.J. Stroud is going to be missing some of his weapons. No Tank Dell, obviously, and it looks like Nico Collins might not play either. So you're down your top 2 wide receivers. I think Dalton Schultz is going to play in this game, so that helps. But I don't know. I like the Titans in this game. I think the Titans. I think the Titans take this one. I might switch it depending on if Nico Collins plays or not. I don't know, but yeah, I think take the Titans, and they also play better at home. So then we got the final early slate game here, and that is the Kansas City Chiefs taking on the New England Patriots. It's Patrick Mahomes against Bailey Zappi this time around. Chiefs obviously coming off of that loss against the Bills, and we all know about Kadarius Toney and him lining up off sides. And actually, it happened again last night. I think Gerald Everett, and he did the same thing. So it's not just the Chiefs. That just happens to the Chiefs. It happens to other Chiefs. Because I think the Chargers were going for it on 4th down, and Gerald Everett lined up off sides. And it just... Ugh. But, Patriots also coming off a win against the Steelers. Right now, the Patriots are an 8-point underdog at home. Weather's not going to be nice. There might be no Isaiah Pacheco once again for the Chiefs. I don't know. I feel like they get back on track here. I mean, I know that, and listen, the Patriots have a good defense, but I think the Chiefs win by 2 scores. But again, what do I know? So, excuse me, to run through it again. So I got the Packers, at least for now, covering the number. Giants, underdog covering. Falcons covering against the Panthers. Browns covering against the Bears. Jets, underdog covering against the Dolphins. Titans winning and covering against the Texans. And the Chiefs covering against the Patriots. I'll be honest, I don't like that I'm taking a lot of the favorites. And also the weather's bad in a lot of these games. So, but I don't know. I mean, you look at I feel like the Chiefs are going to get back on track. I mean, the Panthers can't score. The Browns, I think, are better than the Bears. I think the one game, I don't know. I mean, the Bucks, I think, if the Packers are missing a lot of their weapons, they could probably, maybe cover the number. But I don't know. It's in the cold. I mean, does C.J. Stroud bounce back? Because I feel like when C.J. Stroud has a lot of his big games, they come they come at home. Because, yeah, they played at home 3 straight games. Well, then again, you also did beat the Bengals with Burrow. That was a big win. I don't know. I might have to. I gotta think about this. Yeah, that's the other thing too. I forgot about that because I'm looking at the injuries. C.J. Stroud's in concussion protocol, so he might not even play in this game. So, if that's the case, then definitely taking the Titans. Well, I think that's why the line's kind of moved up because it might be Stroud being out for this game. So, I don't know. I mean, I'm probably gonna get my typical 7-8 this week. So I just whatever. I'm very bitter about last night losing that game because I had the right team initially and then but that's the thing. It's like the games I switch, I lose, and then in the games I don't switch, I lose. Whatever. It is what it is at this point. But yeah, when we come back from our final break of the show, because that's pretty much it with all the games in the early window. We're going to preview the late window games. That's what we will get into when we come back, and then that'll be it for the show. This show is already winding down pretty quickly. But like I say, everything goes fast. So got some big games in that slate as well. So that's what we will get into when we return from our final break. So that being said, stick around, and we'll be right back here on the GSMC Football Podcast.